Please let me know if you can see and hear me, please. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the live section for today. How are you doing? Am I audible? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Please, can you type in the comment section? Yes. Okay. Happy weekend to everyone. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Please, at any point in time in during the class and you're unable to see or hear me, please just indicate in the comment section, okay? And welcome everyone. So we're just going to wait for a few more people to join before we kick up the class. It's with 3 minutes, so let's just give them 5 to 7 more minutes for more people to join the class, so no one is left behind. And while we wait for others to join, I want to welcome everyone to the week 2, section 1 of the Cloud Computing Foundation Bootcamp. And I also want to say I appreciate every one of you that is here and the effort you've put in, especially regarding your assessment, your previous assessment, which we're really going to talk about. Okay. So while we wait for others to join, regarding your previous assessments, if you're here in the live section and you have any pending concern that you want me to address before we start the class, can you please put that in the comment section, please? So I could help you with that question. So if you're here, if you have any pending concern regarding the previous assessment you just submitted, can you please type in the comment section so I'll be able to respond to you? Deborah, so, okay, I don't know if it's this Deborah, but there's, I have few persons which I don't think they're here yet. But if you have, hi Uche, good evening. If you have any pending questions or concern regarding your previous assessment that you want me to clarify before we start off the class for today, can you please put that in the comment section while we wait for others to join? So I'm just going to check because I know there are a few persons I said I was going to address. Okay, so I have, okay, so not this Deborah, okay. So I have Deborah, I have Cleo. Cleo is not here yet, okay. Okay, Faith has a cosine, let's see. I have not been able to access Slack. Really? Okay, Faith, you've not been able to access Slack, so that means you don't have access to DM me directly as well. Okay, so someone will send you the Slack link for you to join before the end of the class. So Faith, possible, please, before the end of the class, can you also raise this concern? So someone will provide you with the Slack link for you to join, because it's important you join the Slack link because that is where you get to get clarities on information regarding your assessments or anything about the bootcamp. So yeah, yes, thank you for raising that up. So does any other person have a concern or something they want me to clarify before we start the class? So we have 3 more minutes while we're waiting for others. So any more issues you want me to clarify? Does anyone have anything else? Okay, so I would wait. So, welcome once again to the class for today. My name is Emmanuela and I am a solutions architect. I'm your instructor for this class. So, for those joining us for today, this is an interactive class where I want you to ask as much questions so you'll be able to get clarities on those questions. Okay. This is a beginner boot camp, so don't be shy to ask questions no matter how it sounds. We're all here to learn, and I'm here as well to give you informations or to clarify any doubts you might be having. Okay. So, before we start the class, I want to leave you with this quote. So, why I'm leaving you with this quote is someone someone reached out to me last week during the assessment. Okay, I asked during the assessment, ask a question that you feel you need answers to, and someone asked if cloud computing requires coding. So I know how people feel about coding. I know how people feel about coding. And when they hear tech, all that comes to mind is writing long script of languages that you don't even understand. But when it comes to cloud computing, that is not entirely the case. So, cloud computing, with cloud computing, you have different niches, different areas of specialty. Okay. So, yes, we by before the end of this boot camp, we have a career mentorship. So where I get to put you through on the areas of cloud, and you choose the area that you feel you want, that you're excited with, and you're going to function properly. So talking about the code, not all areas in cloud requires you to code. So most areas in cloud want you to is based on the financial analysis or financial aspects of cloud, like the FinOps. So if you're, let's say currently you're an accountant and you like that, you still like the maths thingy and you still like dealing with things that has to do with calculations and managing finances and all of that, FinOp is the area for you. We have the solution architect, which is me. If you know you, I love business and I love technology, so it goes hand in hand. So if you know you're someone that you like thinking of the bigger picture of things, you want to see why is this not working, why should it work, you like putting things together to make a whole sense of it, then solution architect is for you. You like going on discovery calls, you like communicating, you like teaching, you like clarifying things, then solution architect is for you. Okay. So if you like coding, if you're the person that you like coding, you just want to get busy, that is where you're excited and you feel fulfilled, then DevSecOps, DevOps, cloud engineering, those areas are for you. So don't be scared when you hear the tech word, or don't be scared in general with this boot camp. Okay, so we have areas of coding which is left for you to choose. If you're excited, you want to be a developer, you choose those areas. Okay, so yeah, I hope I that makes sense. Now, someone says I tried creating my AWS, but it doesn't assess. Yes. So before I answer this question, I want to say this. So, not just because of this boot camp, as you move forward in life with your career, the ability to be able to fix challenges, issues when they come up always makes you stand out. I'm not saying, okay, but I'm the person. And when I'm in a sector, when I'm in a room, I like being the go-to person, and that doesn't mean I always know it. Do you know how I always stand out to be the go-to person? I read instructions. clearly. Before I even open my mouth to ask you questions, I read instructions. Okay. Why I say this is AWS is detailed enough, not just AWS, cloud providers in general. Okay. Is detailed enough. Someone sent me a screenshot and the person was asking, I'm trying to create my account and it's not working. I understand. But one thing you should do first so you don't get overwhelmed, disturbed, agitated, read through. It was clearly stated there. Your method of payment is not accepted. It was clearly stated your method of payment is not accepted. In simple term, whatever card device you're using or whatever identification ID means you're using was not accepted by the platform. So what were you supposed to do at that time? Two things I was the one. Number one, quickly Google. That is why we have AIs right now to make information accessible to us, not just for every other thing. We have Google. What you were supposed to do was to quickly chat and take, okay, I am using or AI, ChatGPT. Almost everybody's using ChatGPT right now. You go to any AI platform or any Google platform, any research platform, you quickly type, I am trying to use this means of card verification for this purpose, and this is the result which I am getting. Can you tell me how to fix it or which means of verification is allowed? Do you know what this saves you? This saves you a lot of headache because I know how it feels when you're trying to get something done and you're not able to do that. Okay. So for you not to really feel overwhelmed, for you not to feel that much of a stress, once you see an error, even when you're in the industry, it is called error logs. Error logs helps you know where to fix an issue so you don't start going everywhere looking for the informations. So once you see an issue, read through it, make good meaning of it, understand what the error is. If you don't understand, use AI, use any search engine to actually understand that. Okay. Now, Faith says, I tried creating my AWS, but it doesn't accept. Yes. So AWS accepts MasterCard 100%, I am sure of. Visa card, I think slightly. I'm not 100% sure of Visa card. So that was why everyone that reached out to me, I told them, try getting a MasterCard, even if it's a Master Virtual Card. I advise someone to get the Master Virtual Card because she was using this VAS card as well. So at prepaid card, no, they don't accept. So I advise someone to get a virtual MasterCard, and she did, and it worked. So MasterCard 100%. Visa card, I think, yes, it does work. Okay. So I'm so sorry, Faith, you were unable to. It's because of the card you're using. So AWS doesn't accept this means of verification. Okay. Okay. Blessing said I misplaced my MasterCard and the VAS card is not, yes, VAS card is not working. At least we all know right now. Okay. So if you're here and you were unable to successfully create your AWS account, my advice is get a MasterCard, 100% MasterCard. For MasterCard, 100%, I am sure. Visa card, I'm not in 100% sure. Okay. So, but I think they should accept Visa card as well. So get a MasterCard, even if it's a virtual MasterCard, it's accepted. So far, you can get your OTP to your means of identification, verified. That is all AWS wants. And when you're using the card, try to have a $1 in the card. The $1 is not, it will be reversed. It's just to verify that the card is active. That's just it. Okay. And and Deborah says, Mom, I am lost. I can't stay in AWS account was created because I didn't get the code for. Okay, so if you created an account and you've not verified, so your AWS account isn't created yet. So Deborah, when you say you're lost, I can't say if the AWS account was created. So the AWS account wasn't created. If you've not verified, you're logged out. So even if you successfully get like a message, your AWS account have been created, go ahead to verify. If you've not verified your account, you'll be logged out. You won't be able to access your AWS console, your servers, and all of that. So it means your account has not been created. When you know your account hasn't successfully created, is when your payments means of identification is successful. Okay, and in your AWS console page, you're going to see the welcome to AWS and the credits which you'll be given. Okay. So for based on what you've said, your account have not been created. Okay. And I tried creating my AWS account, but it only shows the message. You have reached your limits. Attempt to add a payment method. Okay, now the thing is, this is for security purpose. Okay, if you're trying to create an AWS account and you keep using and you keep putting the information and it's been declined. So if it's declined your means of identification, I advise not to proceed with it because you'll be blocked out of it. It's indicate like more like someone is trying to use your details to create an account. So if you try one, for those that haven't created their account, one, get the MasterCard first. Okay. I'm sure of MasterCard. So if you have a Visa card, you can try. Card, no. Now we know it doesn't work. So get your MasterCard first. Put in, even this is a $1 in it, the $1 will be reversed. It's just to authenticate that your card is active. Okay. AWS doesn't take that. Once you get this, every other thing, it's your information that is needed. You put on the information. And please, the name on your card has to be the same name used in registering your AWS. The card is a means of ID verification. So if you're bearing Esther Blessing and you're putting on, and that's what's in your card, and your AWS, you're bearing Esther Luke or something else, it's not going to go through. Okay, please, the name have to correspond. And I waited 24 hours, then 72 hours after directly support bots kept going. Yes, so for you to be able to resolve this issue, it has to be support. So support have to be the only one to resolve this issue for you. It's either because you've put in your information multiple times, you've been blocked. So you have to reach out to support, or else wait. If you waited 72 hours, I was thinking it should be able the system should have been able to wipe the information and give you another try. But you just keep reaching out to support and keep trying. So because this is the only means right now. And if you're trying it for, let's say, in a day, and you attempt 2 times and it doesn't go through, please read the information on the screen. You just blindly keep attending, keep putting the information and it's decline, it's not going to still work. Just read the information on why the card is not processing. Okay, don't input it multiple times so you're not bound from AWS account. Okay, so right now just keep reaching out to AWS, and I'm sorry to hear this. Okay, and if after this class, let's say if after next week you're still unable to open your AWS account, please reach out to me. Please just reach out to me on Slack. Okay, so I'll see what I can do. And where would find okay, so I have marked every assessment. I always mark every assessment and I return them back to you. So when you get your assessment, your scores are there. And also I said ask the question. So your assessment and your scores and the response to every question came together. I returned everything together. So I want to ask, did everyone on this live, have you been able to view your returned assessments that have been graded by me? If yes, please tell me, were you able to see your scores? Because the scores were included and sent back. So tell me, were you able to see the scores when I returned the assessments, please? Can you let me know in the comment section so I know everything is perfect with your assessment class? Okay, so Zikanu, I think you have to check what is wrong with yours because everyone is saying yes, they did. So when I grade your assessment, I put in your score, and this time I asked you to ask one question that you want clarification to. In the comment section, I indicated that question and sent it back. So you should be able to just kindly cross check and let me know if you didn't, please. Okay. Okay. With this being said, we're going to start our class for today. So, making reference to the quotes, when it comes to IT in general, nobody knows it all. In life in general, nobody knows it all. Okay. So, the quote says, nobody in tech feels comfortable right now. It's not just you. You don't need a master plan. You just need a step at a time. Okay. So, just keep going one step at a time, keep figuring it out. You're going to get there. Okay. I know when you're beginning anything in life, it might feel overwhelmed at some point, but you taking one step at a time is getting you closer to where you want to reach. Okay. To your goals. Okay. So, what we'll be covering today, our learning objective for today is we're going to look at what is visualization and describe virtualization, explain the role of hypervisors, understand virtualization power on AWS. I'm going to explain EC2 for you, and we're going to have a hands-on. So everyone that successfully opened their AWS account, please, I would like you to open your AWS in your system as well, okay? Because we're going to do a little of a hands-on. So I show you where to click and all of that because you'll be having an assessment on AWS after this class, okay? So identify the AWS, identify the EC2 components, understand EC2 instances, explain EC2 lifecycle. So this is what we'll be covering today, okay? So a recap on what we've learned on week one. So week one, we understood what is cloud computing, what is server, the difference between server hardware, CPU, PC, and three names of servers, and where servers actually located and why organization use servers. We understood the traditional method of computing and traditional method of tech previously. Okay. So now for today, we'll be starting with the trouble before cloud computing. So when you hear the trouble before cloud computing, we're talking about the traditional way of doing things before cloud computing came into the picture. Okay. So previously, if an organization wants to adopt or build a new platform, they will have to buy their own server, computer, have a team to maintain this computer, to maintain this server, to build this platform. All of these things, these were the traditional method before cloud computing came into the picture. And it made it slow to actually run a business, to build a platform or a software. It made it difficult. So with cloud computing, it became easy to adopt any cloud platform, to build a software, to deploy any cloud services. So this is more like the benefit that we looked on previously when it comes to cloud computing. So cloud computing made it easy for organizations to be able to adopt any server, build their platform without solely owning these components, without spending too much to buy this servers or these components or to build a platform that they need for their businesses. So that was the problem and the benefit of using cloud. So now, when you hear of virtualization, what do you understand by virtualization? Can someone tell me in the comment section? When, if let's say you go out and you hear the word virtualization, what do you understand by virtualization? Can someone please tell me in the comment section? What do you understand when you hear the word virtualization? When you hear a virtual boot camp, a virtual meeting, what do you understand by virtualization? Can someone type in the comment section, please? If you understand, tell me you do understand. If you don't, tell me no, you don't, so I know. So, what do you understand by virtualization? Something that is. So, Faith says something that is visible. Okay. Any other response? Remote computing resources. Okay. It means online. Chema says it means online. Okay. Any other one? Any other response that is different from what Chema and Faith and it's not hosted physically. Okay. Any other response? Having control of multiple desktop computers online. Okay. I told you I have intelligent people. Okay. So any other response? You know why I like you putting things in your own understanding, in your own terms? It makes you think about it, understand it, and putting it in your own term makes it sink. Okay, it makes it stable, it makes it clear. So it's all you've said. If you've noticed, all you've said about virtualization, it's not physical hosting. It's someone said it's remote computing resources. Some other person says okay, has said I don't understand. It's fine. We're going, that is why you are here. Okay. Hazi, yeah, we're going to explain. So virtualization, when someone says virtualization, it means it's not, it's the duplicate of a component or a resource that is not its original form. Like someone said, it is remotely, it is a compute resource. So all of these things, when you have, let's say you have an original of something kept somewhere, okay, and now you have a copy of that thing that is being used, not physically, that is virtualization. Okay. So now when we talk about virtualization, it's virtualization in the technical term, it's allowing one physical computer to run multiple other servers, other virtual components simultaneously. Okay. So virtualization in each actual sense, it's having the original of something and then having a photocopy of it that is not physical. Okay. Now, when it applies to the technical term, it's simply having a physical computer, okay, somewhere, then having that computer duplicated in the cloud, and it allows multiple virtual computer to run in it. Does that make sense? Do you understand? Do you understand now when we say virtualization in the technical term? Let me know in the comment section if you do. Because we really need to understand virtualization before we move forward, because this is the key of EC2 AWS. So do you understand? Okay. Yes. Okay. Do we all understand now? Virtualization is hosting your database on the cloud. Yeah. So do we all understand? I need a yes in the comment section. If you don't understand, please say no and I will explain. I'm going to explain to everyone here understands. So let me know. So I got a yes, yes, okay, okay. I got a yes, okay, merciful. Merciful said, no, please, I don't understand. Could you? Okay. So now, merciful, leave the technical term aside. Now, let's understand visualization in its own word, okay? In its own literal meaning. When you say something is virtual, it means it's it's a copy of a thing which is physical, but now it is running virtually on the cloud. Okay. So let's say you have an instance to use. Okay, so let's say you have a computer right now. Your computer, you can see it. You can see it, you can touch it. This is the this is the physical computer that you have. Now, when you go online in AWS and you set up another computer, that is called virtualization. So it's like you having the same component, the same servers, but not physically, but right now remote, like virtually on the cloud. So it's more like having a photocopy of an original of a thing, but physically it's not there, but it still carries the same function. It still works the same way. Okay? Merciful, does that make sense? Do you understand? Please let me know if you understand, Merciful. Does that make sense? Do we all understand? Merciful, please. Okay. So, does any other person still need clarification? Do we all understand? Now, when you hear the word virtualization, you don't need to be confused, okay? Okay. Do we all understand now? So, when you hear the word virtualization, just think of it as the the copy of something that is running in a different platform and is not physical. So now let's go to virtualization in the technical term. Okay. So when we say virtualization in its technical term, we mean that it's a technology that allows one physical computer, okay, to run multiple virtual computers simultaneously. Remember, I said virtualization in its literal term means what? Having its physical components, having something physical, and then having a photocopy of it and using it, but it's not physical, right? So that is what it is in the technical term. You don't need to be confused. You don't need to break your head about anything. It's literally having one physical computer, which is AWS data warehouse, which is the physical computer right now, and it's running simultaneously, running multiple virtual computers, okay, which are not physical, okay? That is what is virtualization. So now, the next slide is when we're talking about physical server and virtual machine. Do we all remember what is a server? We talked about what is server the last class. Do we all remember what is a server? If yes, tell me what you remember it's a server. We talked about server during week one. Do you all understand? Do you still remember what is a server? If yes, tell me what is a server. Do we still understand? Do we still remember what is a server? If yes, please could you tell me in the comment section? Do we still remember? If no, can you tell me no so I could explain before we move forward? A server provides services or information. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you, Adistef. Yes. Because a server is a computer that's okay. Thank you. A server is a computer or a system that provides resources, services, or data. Thank you so much, Mary. Yes, we're all correct. This is what is a server. Okay, we are all correct. This is what is a server. Okay, so a server is a computer or a system. It provides resources for other computers. Okay, and there are different types of servers: database, web server, application server, email server. The function of a server is to enable others to provide data or services for other computers to be able to carry out their function. And there are different types of servers, okay? There are different type of servers. So now, a physical server and a virtual machine. So when we say a virtual machine, we're talking about in EC2, the instance, the server that actually carries out the functions. Okay, when we're talking about virtual machine, have you heard the word of a virtual? Have you heard the word virtual machine before? If no, I need to break that down. Have you heard the word virtual machine before? Deborah, you say you don't understand. What is it you don't understand? Can you tell me specifically so I clarify? Why Deborah is doing that? Have you heard the word virtual machine before? Okay, William said no. Deborah, please clarify your question so I'll be able to provide answers to it. So we have one no. Okay. Have any other person heard of the word virtual machine before? Okay. Digital coach said yes. Okay. Okay. Ade Steph said yes. Digital coach said yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, yes. Okay. So can you tell me what is a virtual machine in your own term, in your own understanding? Okay. In your own term, in your own understanding, what do you understand by virtual machine? So, what do you understand when I tell you virtual machine? I just said the word virtual machine now. What comes to mind? What do you understand by virtual machine? Remember, we've clarified what a virtual is, right? So, when you talk about virtual and machine, what comes to mind? So, Digital Coach says you can use virtual machine to install other operating systems on your computer. Any other one? When we heard the word virtual, which is what we just clarified previously, and machine, what comes to mind? Virtual machine, virtual computer that runs on a physical computer. Okay. Any other one? It's like a sandbox in a computer. I have intelligent people in this class. Any other one? Fate's possible. You said no to something, so I want you to clarify, okay? So I'll be able to respond to you. I don't know what you said no to, but try to be specific so I know what you're asking about, okay? So, um, no, I have not heard. Is that okay? Fine. It's fine. If you've not heard of virtual machine before, that is why we're here. So now, when we talk about a virtual machine, someone said it is a virtual machine is literally a virtual computer that is actually running on a physical computer. A virtual machine is literally a virtual computer that you have on the cloud now, but it's running, it's using resources from a physical computer somewhere. So in terms of AWS virtual machine, we're talking about the AWS virtual components, okay? The AWS virtual component that is operating on AWS cloud, but it's using the servers or the components that exist in AWS data warehouse, which is the physical machine that Mary just said here. Okay, so virtual, it's a machine, a computer that is running on AWS cloud using the resources, the components that is physically on AWS data warehouse. Does that make sense? Do you understand? So when we talk about a physical computer, now your physical computer has CPU, it has the RAM, it has the storage, it has the operating system. Your virtual machine, which is the AWS EC2, also have all of this. So do you understand? Hazi said no. So Hazi, the thing is this. When you say virtual, we've clarified what virtual is previously, right? So virtual means something, your computer. Now, virtual is a computer that is running on the cloud, not physically. Okay, that is virtual. Now, when you talk about the machine, we're talking about the compute. We're talking about your CPU, we're talking about your RAM, your storage, your operating system. All of this makes up the compute. Okay, so now a physical server or a physical computer running somewhere, it's physical. You can touch, you can feel it. That is your that is a physical compute. Now, a virtual machine is a machine, a copy of a computer, but it's not physical. It still carries out the same function, but is running on the cloud. Does that make sense? Do you understand? A virtual machine hosts multiple components. If it's exactly, do we all understand? Hazi, do you understand? Do we all understand? Can you put a yes in the comment section if you do? If you don't, tell me no, I'll still explain. Virtual, it means it's not physical. Get that in mind, okay? When you say virtual, it means it's not physical, okay? Now, machine, we're talking about the compute, what your computer needs to run, okay? That is literally what it is. You don't need to think too much about it, okay? So please, if you don't understand, still tell me no. If you understand, please tell me yes. Can I get a yes or a no in the comment section? Do you understand or not? Okay, so I got yes, yes. Okay. So now that is what a virtual machine is. Okay. Your virtual machine has all of the components, all of the resources that your physical machine also needs to function. It has a CPU, it has a RAM, it has the storage, it has your operating system. All of those things, it's what you're going to deploy to actually have a functionable virtual machine on EC2. Okay, which we're going to see. I'm going to show you clearly. Okay, now let's see in an analogy of what a virtual machine is. So now let's say you have a house, you have an apartment. Okay, you have a building. Now this building, you actually have a building and you want to give out each of those buildings to different individuals, but you want them to have isolation, to have privacy. Okay, so now the virtual machine is a building, a compound. Just figure it like a Nigerian compound, the Nigeria typical compound, where you have each rooms. Okay, and these each rooms have a wall. Nobody knows what is happening with the other person's in the other person's apartment. The other person doesn't know what is happening in his or her neighbor's apartment. So that is literally what a virtual machine is. Okay? Okay? Please don't get confused about it. Now, what is a hypervessel? So when we talk about the word hypervessel, hypervessel is a software that creates and manage virtual machine. Without hypervessel, you can't manage your virtual machine. You can't have isolation. It means person A, like I gave the example before, is like having a house, a flat, and you have individual rooms. So now in the individual rooms, Faith, you have your own apartment, your kitchen, your everything you need in it, and you have a wall which creates privacy for you. Okay. And now we have Uche. Uche say you don't understand. Okay, fine. Now we have Uche. Uche has her own building, her own things in it, and privacy as well. Okay. Now, hypervessel is what helps to manage this visualization. Without the wall, it means Uche, Williams, Chioma will be able to see what is happening in each other's apartments. There's no privacy. Okay. But hypervessel, which is a software, it helps create the isolation for each of this shared components. It helps manage this virtual machines. Do you understand? So prior to now, let me ask, have you heard the word hypervessel before? Before this class? Thank you, Hazi. Before this class, have you heard the word hypervessel before? Okay, so Mary said, I do hear hypervessel 1 and 2. What are the difference? Okay. Hazi said, understood ma. Okay, clearly. So let's answer for it then. Thank you, Hazi. Now, there are different types of hypervessel. Okay. We have Microsoft, we have a lot of them. There are different types of hypervessel. And now when you say hypervessel 1 and 2, is literally saying um this isolation is created like this room. Hypervessel is what helps you create the privacy. So let's say you're having an open hall. Okay, you have an open hall. For you to help you to have a privacy, it means there is a demarcation. Okay, there's something that splits and creates that boundary. So when you say hypervessel 1, it means you're talking about the isolation 1 or the compute 1 and 2, which are working in separate, in one house, but in separate environment in that same place. Mary, do you understand? Mary, do you understand? If you understand, tell me yes, please. If you don't understand, tell me no, so I can still explain. Caniola said, I don't understand. So which one don't you understand? Is it a hypervessel or is it visualization? Please be specific. Yeah, better. Okay. Thank you, Faith. Please try to be specific when you ask your question. When you say no, I don't understand. In case I move forward before I get your no, so I know what you're talking about and I'll be able to be able to answer that question. So right now, Uche, you said no. So Uche, is your no for the hypervessel? Just tell me a yes now so I get it and I explain again. Uche, is your no for the hypervessel? Rose, is your no for the hypervessel? Let me know. You just tell me yes, hypervessel, so I'm going to know. So now Merciful says the hypervessel 1 and 2 is not clear, ma. Could you okay, I'm going to explain again. Okay. So now when you talk about a hypervessel, one, a hypervessel is a software. Okay. The function and the essence of the hypervessel is to be able to manage a virtual machines. Okay. Now, for it to be able to manage that, it creates isolation, it creates privacy, allocation. Okay. Without an hypervessel, like the example I gave, see your compute, see your virtual machine like a house, a like let's say a hall. And now in that hall you have hypervessel 1, hypervessel 2, hypervessel 3, which means we have three different isolations, three different machines running simultaneously. Do you understand? So hypervessel responsibility, it allocates this servers, it allocates CPU, storage, it manages the virtual machine. That is its function. So when you have hypervessel 1, it means we have one isolation or one allocated CPU running somewhere, depending on the function that that hypervessel is carrying out. When you hear hypervessel 2, it simply means we have a second isolation that has been created. So please let me know, is that clear? Do you understand now, Merciful? Okay, Rose says yes. Okay, so Merciful, do you understand now? Any other person aside from Merciful as well who doesn't understand, please indicate in the section. We're going to clarify, okay? Yes, ma, I get it now. So does that mean that hyperversal number one exactly? So when you say hyperversal one, literally saying you have an isolation location or an allocated server privately that has been allocated to a person or to a computer or to a virtual machine. That is literally what it is. Okay. Does anybody have not really? Okay, Choma. Okay. So when you say not really, Choma, are you talking about the hypervessel? Let me know, please. Choma, when you say not really, are you talking about the hypervessel? Why are they isolated from each other? Okay, I'm going to answer your question. So Choma said yes, she's talking about the hypervessel. Okay, so now why are they isolated? So imagine we've established that a virtual machine is having a copy of a physical server running somewhere, a physical machine running on the cloud. That is established, right? So now imagine you have a physical server, I mean, a virtual machine running in the cloud. If you don't have isolation, it means whatever I am doing, you're going to see it, Mary. It means I don't have privacy. Just like you and I we're sharing this pen, and this pen is literally open like this, but we have shares in it. But and there is no privacy. It's literally like this. Okay, let's say I have this edge and you have this edge. Whatever I'm doing, you can literally see it. You can see whatever I'm doing. I can see whatever you're doing. Okay? But if we have a privacy, it means we're still sharing the same pen, but in isolation. Does that make sense? That is why it's isolated from each other. Does it make sense, Mary? Mary, please let me know if it makes it. If you understand now, let me know. Say yes. Why we answer Chioma, okay? Okay, yes. So isolation is needed, okay? Isolation is needed. Now let's go to Choma. I think Choma, you said you didn't understand before. Let me see. Everyone has to understand. Okay, Choma, you said not really. Not really the hypervessel. So yes, more like a large office hall. Exactly. This is what it is. Okay. So hypervessel carries out different functions, okay, for allocating of your CPU, running of your applications, hardware locations, and all of that. So now it depends on the functions, okay? But generally, its main reason or the main purpose for having a hypervessel is to manage your virtual machines. Okay, it has different responsibilities. Like when you say managing something, it means I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, all to ensure that the virtual machine runs smoothly. Does that make sense? So when you hear of hyperversal, just know that the primary function of the software called hyperversal is to manage the virtual machine. The virtual machine, which is a shared cloud compute. Okay, and now why hyperversal manages this virtual machine is to able to ensure that all of the compute, all of the resources, or everyone has an allocated server and runs smoothly and privately as well. So that is the function of virtual of a hyperversal, not more. Is just to manage this large hall. Someone said the large hall, I think here, yeah. It's just to manage this large hall that is shared by billions of people over the world. Okay. It has to manage allocation of CPU, RAM, everything, creating isolation. That is its primary function. Okay, does that make sense? Is it clear? Please let me know in the comment section. If no, I will still explain. So once you hear of hyperversal, just know hyperversal is a software that creates and manage a virtual machine. Okay? Hyperversal, once you go outside, hyperversal, oh, that is that software. And what does it do? It creates and manage a virtual machine. It has different responsibility. It carries, when literally when you're managing, let's say you're the manager of MTN. You being the manager of MTN, it means you're carrying out you have different responsibility. Maybe you're in charge of ensuring accounting is balanced. You're in charge of following up with the technical team to ensure that everyone in Nigeria has network. You're in charge of the office station to ensure that everywhere is clean. You have different responsibility as a manager, right? Am I right or wrong? As a manager, you have different responsibility. Thank you, digital coach. As a manager, you have different responsibilities. So that is what a hypervisor is. Hypervisor is the manager that manages the virtual machine. Okay, so it carries a different function of allocation, ensuring that everything runs smoothly. Okay, thank you all. Thank you all. And now, what is the benefit of virtualization? Okay, before we read what is here, now we've talked about virtualization. Type in the comment section from your own understanding of virtualization. What do you think is the benefit of having a virtual machine running on the cloud as compared to having a physical computer? Can we quickly do that? Everyone type in the comment section as compared to having a physical computer. What do you think is the benefit of having a virtual compute running in the cloud as a business owner, as a CEO, as a decision maker in your company? What do you think? Scalability, isolation, security. Thank you. More response. So, as compared to having a physical computer, what do you think is the benefit of having a virtual machine? Having a virtual machine running in the cloud helps for easy backup and storage. Thank you. More response, less physical storage. Thank you. It helps optimize the computer. Thank you very much. So there are so many benefits. Okay. It is easy to start up. It is easy for management, scalability, fast deployments. Someone talked about database. Someone talked about backups. So many response. Okay. Yeah, security, ability to access your resources from anywhere. So we have so many benefits when we talk about virtualization. Okay, so many benefits, and all of these benefits is what you look out for. Okay, when you're adopting any of this cloud virtual services. Okay, so now, how AWS uses visualization? Okay, so AWS, when we talk about virtualization in AWS, we're talking about AWS EC2. So I did say that you should look out five AWS services that you have interest in, and a lot of people also discussed about EC2. So EC2 is an AWS virtual machine. Okay, it's a virtual machine that provides the compute that your platform runs on. So if you're choosing an EC2 to now, each EC2 is not the only AWS compute service. It is one of it. Okay, I think someone that is one of our questions. So AWS EC2 is not the only AWS compute. Okay, it is one of it. It is one of it that has its own unique usage and requirements. Okay, so we have the Lambda as well. It's still under the AWS compute. So EC2 is one of the AWS compute. Okay, so now the we'll be talking about the EC2. Okay, when you launch an EC2 instance, what does not actually build AWS does not actually build a new computer, like I said before. When you launch an EC2 instance, AWS does not go to build a new computer for you. No, they have a large data warehouse already, which is the virtual machine. Okay, so now when you want to install or when you want to spin up a computer on the cloud, AWS gives you a part, it gives you a share on from that large, someone say large hall, from that large hall where you get to now choose and deploy your own computer. Okay. And the AWS compute we talk about is AC2. So instead, AWS creates a virtual machine on a physical server inside AWS database for you. Okay. Now we are having introduction to AWS EC2. So for all of you that did the research on AWS EC2, put in the section and tell me what is an AWS EC2. So now we're talking about a lot of you did your one of the services you talked about was EC2. So what did you understand from your own research in your own words and term? What did you understand when I say now I said it? Now you've done your research. Now I'm saying tell me about EC2. What do you understand by EC2? You just did the assessment a few days ago. So a lot of you did EC2. So let's say everyone that did EC2, or if you've ever heard of the word EC2, AWS EC2, what do you understand by AWS EC2? Can you put in the comment section, please? When you say AWS EC2, what do you understand? What do you understand by EC2? Did you actually do your assessment? So let's know. Now we're going to find out if you did copy and paste or you actually understood it. So what is an AWS EC2? As Steph said, an EC2 is a virtual compute that you rent from AWS to run application or workload without. Thank you very much. This is an EC2. This is literally an EC2. You don't own it. Okay, now there's something she said here that I want us to. Okay, now an EC2 is an AWS cloud service that provide virtual machines, literally providing you virtual computer for running application workload. Okay, it provides you virtual machines for running your application workload without owning a physical server. I want to stress that word so that when you hear the word virtual, you're not confused. It's literally owning EC2 is literally owning a virtual machine on the cloud. You don't have it physical. You don't, the computer, it's not physically yours. It's yours, but on the cloud. Okay? That is literally what it is. Please don't get confused with these terms, okay? Yes. So you are renting instead of owning. That is what a virtual machine is. And EC2, you're renting this compute from AWS. You're renting it out. Your business is renting it out from AWS to use it for the duration that you feel your business needs it. That is what an EC2 is. Your business say, oh, we need a computer and we need a CPU and we need all of these things to run our server, but we don't have the budget to buy one ourselves, or we don't have the time to buy one ourselves, or we don't even have the capacity to manage it. AWS provides that for you. Okay, so you go to AWS, you choose your EC2 instance, the type that is in line with your business. So that is what it is. Thank you, everyone. You guys are so intelligent. That is what it is. An EC2 allows you to rent a virtual machine. That is literally what an EC2 is. Okay, I'm so proud of you all. Okay, so now an EC2, it stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud. So when you say elastic, it has the word elastic in it because it scales. Okay, it scales, it enlarges, it grows. Okay, that is what it means by elastic. Okay, compute is literally your virtual computer. Cloud, in the cloud. That is it. You don't need to get confused. Okay, so EC2 provides resizable virtual services in the cloud. So these virtual services, based on your business request, based on what you want to use it for, based on your budgets, your contract, it has different types and sizes. Okay. So that is what an EC2 is. Okay. Now, understanding the name EC2, like I've explained previously, elastic, it means it increases, it decreases based on capacity, based on your selection. I'm going to show you all of this in a short while. Why I said it increases and decreases based on your own request, based on your business need, based on your setup. Okay. Now, compute simply means processing power, the computer that runs your application, your platform, your services. Okay. Now, cloud, literally, we've talked about cloud, which is the resource delivered over the internet. Okay. So that is what an EC2 is. It's very simple. Once you hear an EC2, just know it's an AWS virtual machine running on AWS platform. Okay. Now, what is an EC2 instance? Have you heard of the word? Okay, while you carried out your research, did you look out EC2 instance? While you were carrying out your research, did you come across EC2 instances? If yes, tell me yes. If yes, tell me yes and what you think it is. If no, say no. I'm not going to explain. Okay. Did you, when you were carrying out your research, for those that did the EC2 as one of the five services. Did you come across the EC2 instance? If yes, tell me what you understood. If no, just tell me no, I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain till you understand, okay? So just tell me, did you come across an EC2 instance? No. Okay, someone said no. Okay. Okay. Any other person? Did anyone come across an EC2 instance? Aditech said yes. Okay. Yes, it is a virtual compute running in the cloud. Yes, okay. Did any other person come across an instance or not? Okay. Did anyone come across an EC2 instance while carrying out your assessment? Okay. So you use it to host the app. Exactly. It carries out so many functions. EC2 instance, I did come across the word on the learning material. Okay. Yeah. Tika, you actually did your work. Okay, so now, what is an EC2 instance? So when you hear an EC2 instance, okay, an EC2 instance is a virtual server. That is what it is. Okay, it's the AWS virtual server running on AWS platforms. Like someone said, it allows you to run your data applications over the internet, just like your physical machine. An EC2 instance is your virtual computer. And now, when we say virtual computer, it's literally the computer that you have on AWS platform. It's literally the computer that gives you access to the internet, just like your physical computer. That is what an EC2 is. And now, when we talk about a physical computer, there are different types. Am I right or wrong? We have the LG, we have the HP, we have the Apple, we have different types of computers. And that is the same way you have different types of EC2 as well. Okay? Does that make sense? Rose, does that make sense now? So if an EC2 is literally the virtual machine running on AWS platform. And there are different types of EC2. Just the way you have different types of computer physically, that is how you have different types of instances. Okay? It seems EC2 instance has the feature of yes. The EC2 instance is literally the virtual machine of AWS. That is what it is. So don't get confused. Rose, Rosalie, is it correct? Do you understand? Let me know. If no, I'm still going to explain. Okay? If no, tell me no, I'm going to explain. So when you hear an EC2 instance, an EC2 instance, EC2, like we said, it is the AWS virtual compute. That is what it is. EC2 instance, literally, it is the AWS, your computer running in AWS platform, virtual compute. Okay? Now, compute on an EC2 instance. So when launching an EC2 instance, okay, there are different things you have to check. If all of those things are not ticked, the box are not ticked, you don't configure all of this, you won't have a functioning AWS instance. You won't even be able to deploy it on AWS cloud. So the things that are there, the components that makes up your AWS EC2 instance is what we have what we call the AMI, instance type, storage, security group, key, pair, and EC2 lifecycle. This makes up your AWS compute. Okay, now I'm going to explain this one after the other. When we say AMI, we means the Amazon machine image. So your Amazon machine image is you choosing your operating system, just like we have the Linux. Okay, what operating system do you want your computer to run? So when you buy a computer, okay, when you buy a physical computer, if you don't install your operating system, how would you carry out your functions? Can you carry out your functions without installing your operating system? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Yes or no? So your AWS Amazon machine image is a blueprint of your operating system. It provides you with the operating system that you need to actually run your virtual machine in the cloud. Okay, so no. So without your operating system, you can't. Your laptop will not function. So you need an operating system. That is literally what AMI provides for you. Okay. Now remember, I told you we have instant types. Now the instant type is literally what type of CPU, what kind of RAM. Now, when you're going to buy a laptop, even a phone, you check out for the speed, the RAM, the storage, all of these things you're looking out for based on the purpose of which you want to buy the phone. So, and again, if you're going to buy this laptop for the purpose of storage, your goal will be looking out for a laptop that has more storage capacity. Am I right or wrong? If you're going to buy the laptop for the purpose of actually running systems that needs heavy operating system or heavy CPU, you'll be looking out for the CPU. Okay. Now, this is what an instance is. An instance is, like I said, an instance is the different types of laptops, the different types of phone that you have. AWS instance, there are different types of AWS instance, which I'm going to show to you in a few bits. So AWS instances are being chosen based on your workload, based on what your organization wants to use this AWS for. Okay, there are different types of AWS, which I'm going to show. So you choose the type of AWS that you want, that your business wants, that you feel is okay for your business. Okay. And now installing your when deploying your EC2, we have what is called the EBS, Elastic Block Service Storage on AWS. So what this is a storage that is always attached to EC2. This is literally where your application is going to run. Okay, is an elastic block storage of AWS. It is literally it is a storage capacity or a storage service that is linked and attached to your AWS instance. So this storage, you're going to have or store all of your business logics, maybe your application code, your file, everything that your platform needs to function, you store it here. And this storage also have its different capacities as well, based on your usage, your business requirements. Okay. Now, the next thing you need to look out when deploying your EC2 is your security group. Please, all of this thing I'm saying, pay attention to it, because your assessment, you're going to deploy an EC2. Okay. Without all of this, it will not work for you. AWS will not allow you even. So now, the next thing you have to consider is security group. Now, your instance, your laptop needs to be secured. So just like your physical laptop, you have the firewall, you have different security attached with it, you have the password, you have password to your system, so not just a random person can have access to it. That is what security group is. Security group is literally providing you network security to your virtual machine. That is the function of a security group. And in the security group, you choose the security you want to enforce in this computer, in your virtual machine. Okay. Now we have this key pair. Please pay attention. Key pair is a secure key that is being generated by you and included in your AWS account, your AWS EC2. And the essence of a key pair is so that you have now in your account, remember, in your AWS account, I said you should do multiple authentication factor, right? When it comes to cloud, security is very important. And do you know why? Because a cloud is a virtual component, right? Anybody has a virtual compute, everybody can have access to it. And these days, the internet is open to everyone. The internet is open to everyone. So if your virtual machine or your resources on the internet is not properly secured, it can easily be hacked. So that is why security is really, really important. So your key pair provides you additional security for your EC2. I know someone is going to say, why do we need a key pair? Why we already have a security group? A key pair gives you a second security. Okay, Williams, you said no to what? Please, no to what in particular so I can respond, okay, accordingly. So a key pair gives you additional security. Now, this key pair is like you generating your multiple authenticator factor, but now in a different scenario. You generate your key pair and you input your key pair in AWS. So when you were deploying your AWS EC2, if your key pair is not available and it doesn't tally with the one that has already been given to AWS, AWS will not allow anyone access into your EC2. So that is how secure your virtual machine has to be. Okay. And now the next component you have to look out for is Yes, like yes, there's that is what it is, Choma. Like multiple factor authenticator. Okay, so it's creating additional security. So now the next thing we have to look out is the EC2 life cycle. So when we talk about life cycle, we're literally talking about the different phases or different process in a thing. So when you talk of EC2 life cycle, to be specific, EC2 life cycle means the running stage of EC2, the termination stage of an EC2, the different stages of EC2. Okay, this is what I'm going to show you as well. So there are different life cycle of EC2 depending on the reserve, the termination, and all of these things. So you need to look out for. These are the components you need to look out for. Okay, is there any question before I move forward to the next? You really need, if you have any question on this particular slide, ask me, because you need to know the slide to be able to do your assessment. So do you have any question on this slide before I move to the next one, so we can do your hands-on quickly? Do you have any question on this slide? Any questions, please put that in the comment section. If no, tell me no. If yes, please specify. Okay, any questions? So this is the components. This is mandatory for your EC2 to actually be deployed successfully. Please take notes. You have to choose your AMI. Okay, Choma said no questions. For your you if you don't put this, AWS will not even allow you to click in deploy instance. So you have to choose an AMI, you have to choose an instant type, you have to have your EBS, your security group have to be installed, your key pair. This is needed. Okay. Now moving on. Okay, you have a question. Jim, please, can you go ahead with your question, please? Faith, your question, please, so we can move to the next slide. So while Faith asks her question, we'll just move to the next slide while she asks a question, okay? In our set of the other ones. Now we have to do an EC2 hands-on. Faith, I'm waiting for your question before I flip to the hands-on, okay? Faith, are you here? I'm waiting for your question before we go to the hands-on. Okay, so I'll just go to the hands-on while she types her question, I guess. So now I'm going to share with you my AWS console, and I will walk you through how to actually deploy an EC2 instance. Okay, so please look carefully, and ask me questions. Okay, this is one of the things you're going to do in your assessment. Okay, if you have any question, just write them down. Once I'm done, ask me your questions. Okay. Faith says, is it possible? No, you can't. There's no, it's not. Please just ask your questions on the comment box. I'm sorry, love. No. Can you just please put in your question in the comment section? Okay, while she's typing her question, I would move to the slides. Just put your question in the comment section, please. Okay, so I'm going to share my slide with you now. Which of the AWS am I using? I think this. Can you see my screen, please? Yeah, I think you can. So this is literally what an AWS. Can you see my screen? Can you put yes, please, in the comment section? You didn't get that. Okay, the apartment building. Okay, so now I use the apartment building analogy to describe the virtual machine. Okay, yes. Thank you. Let me just clarify before we move on, okay? So now, a virtual machine. When we talk about a virtual machine, is like literally having a physical computer, sorry, a computer that is running on the cloud. And now, this computer is running on the cloud, meaning it is open to everyone. Okay, so far you have the access to AWS platform or to any cloud provider platform. So that is what the apartment building is all about. So imagine you have a hall, and now we have Rosalie, we have Favor, we have Faith, which is you, and this hall represents a computer, which AWS has set up for us, which is a virtual computer. And I want to have a space in that computer. I want to run a compute for my business. You, Faith, you want to have a space, you want to run a compute for your business. Every other person wants, let's say 5 different people want. Now, the apartment or the hall is the virtual machine, is the large component. So AWS gives access or rooms to each and every one of us to carry out our business approach, to run our servers. So do you understand? And now we talked about hypervessel. Now you have to say, okay, how are we going to run our businesses in this large hall without encroaching on the other person's space, without having access to the other person's data? That is where hypervessel comes in. Hypervessel helps you to work to manage this shared platform. Okay. So Faith, please tell me, do you understand? Does that make sense? Let me know, please. Do you understand? Please tell me yes or no in the comment section. Okay. So that is literally what it is. The analogy was given to clarify and to give an example for the virtual machine. Okay. So let me know if you understand. If you don't understand, still tell me no, and I'm going to explain in a different term so you understand. So thank you, everyone. You can see my AWS so this is literally my AWS. This is what AWS interface changes. Okay. So what you see now today might be different tomorrow, depending on maybe they have a new service. It changes at times. Okay. It changes at times. So my look might be different from your look, or my look today can be different from the look tomorrow. Or because I use AWS a lot, so I have so many services all over the place. Okay. So, but it is still the same platform, it is still the same console. Okay. Nothing to really disturb yourself about. So now this is your AWS console. Here you have, so most of my credentials are maxed for privacy and for security reasons. Okay. So when you go to your AWS, and yours should be as well. So please keep your AWS credentials intact. No one should have access to your information like your AWS ID, your AWS key pair, your all of this information. If someone else have access to this information, your AWS platform will be hacked. And trust me, you don't want that. Okay, please. So now here, the slide here, the one by your right, this slide gives you information about your AWS account ID, your account name, few setup, and if you want to run an AWS organization management, you have the organization console here, you have the service quotes here, you have your billing and cost, which we're going to look at for as well. You have your billing and cost management button here, your security credentials. If you click now, when you say security credentials, this is where you can see my is blurred. This is, you see this particular place is if someone else have access to it, your system is hacked. So please no. So you see something like your user ARN informations, all of this, please don't share with any person. Okay. So these are the buttons you have. And now, how to search for a service. Once you open your AWS, yours might not have different service like this. All of these services, I pinged them, okay? If you have a service that you work with always, you can come to these three slides here. You click on it, the service. Once you click on the service and it opens you go ahead to pin the service and you have the service here on top of the bar. Okay, so let's try that with which service am I going to try now? Let's see. AWS, let's say AWS app config. Okay, so let's say I want to pin app config. I go to AWS app config. The app config is open. I come here. Sorry. AWS app config is open. I come here and no, not this one. My applications and no, this is when you want to create an application instance, all your services. So what you do is you can see once I type in my service, you don't need to open it, okay? All you need to do is just to click this tab beside it, okay? And you're going to have that up here. So let's use the AWS app config, for instance. So I just click on it and click out. You can see the service over here. Are you seeing it at the extreme, close to where you have my name, Emma? Can you see it? Can you see it? So that is how you pin your services, okay? If you have any service you're always working with, you just pin it that way. It makes it easy for you, okay? Now, let's go to what we have for today. I'm just going to unpin this so my system is just all over the place. So what we're dealing with today is AWS EC2. So imagine that I have an AWS EC2 pin here already. So, but let's imagine that I don't have AWS EC2 and this is my first time, okay? How do I get AWS EC2? You come to the search bar, you type the name EC2, it pops up. Now you can see there are different EC2s, right? So the one to choose is you're choosing the AWS EC2 virtual server in the cloud. You click on it. Okay. Once you click on it, it opens it up for you. Okay. Once you click on any service, it opens the server for you. So far, you don't have restrictions to your account. Now, to install an AWS EC2, like I said, there are different types of instances, right? I told you before. By the left-hand side, the tabs you have, it gives you different informations, which you can read through and go through whenever you're deploying your applications. Even me, with how many years of experience, I don't just blindly deploy any solutions. I read through because the services changes, okay? The service and maybe it upgrades to something, maybe add a new usage or a new service or a new function to it, you can read through all of it. So now if I want to know more about AWS instance and the one to choose, I click on the AWS instance types. You're going to see these are the different instance types. Can you see them? Tell me yes or no in the chat. um Let me answer this question. She says, why was I creating an account and I saw something like 200. I did not get that. Okay. Oh, you got 200. Faith, you're lucky. I think some people got 100. I think some people got 100. So the 200 you got, Faith, how did you get 200? Did everyone get a credit of 200? I was seeing mostly 100. Previously, during my time, it was 300. So now this is an AWS. Did all of you get 200 or 300? Just put that in the chat box. How much is the AWS welcome credits you got? So now the 200 you saw, Faith, it's an AWS welcome credit that is given to beginners. Okay. This helps you. AWS wants everyone to know AWS, how to use it. And you can't carry out an AWS function without having to pay one or two. Okay. Now, AWS, when you open an AWS account newly, yeah. So yeah, I know I saw 100. Yeah, some people, a lot of people got 100. I don't know how you got 50, 200 feet. You're lucky, I guess. So when you open an AWS account initially, okay, AWS gives you two things. One, is this credit that you all got. Now, what do you do with this credit? This is to help you practice. This is to help you practice, okay? So there are some AWS services that is not on the free tier. Your account right now, the free tier account lasts for 1 year. So I saw in some of your screenshots you sent me, it lasts till 2007, 2000, sorry, 2027. Okay, year 2027, which is 1 year from now that you open the account. Okay, so you have a free tier services. So free tier services are services that AWS provide free credit on monthly. It's monthly usage. Okay, if you exhaust your free tier credit for the month and you deploy on that service, using that service, you're going to be charged. Okay, so now that is why AWS gives you free tier account for 1 year. Now the AWS two, the credits you got, which all of you got, two, excuse me. So this credit is to help you pay for, let's say you mistakenly set up an instance and the instance accumulated more than your monthly free tier. AWS, you're going to pay for that from this your 200 credits instead of paying from your pocket. Okay? So that is what this credit is all about. Okay? So please use your money wisely. In this account, I'm going to show you how to set up a budget as well. You're going to set up a budget because if you leave an EC2 running, you can pay millions. So I don't want that for you. Here, we're going to teach you how to set up a budget as well. That is something you're going to do in your assessment. Everybody must do that. Okay, so that is why you have that. So with that being said, you all say you could see my screen. Now, these are the different EC2 instances, okay? Instant types. Now, these instant types have different function, different CPU, different architecture, different memories. This is like you going to buy a phone or a laptop. You have to choose the one that aligns with your usage, the reason for buying it. Okay, let's say now I am buying, I want to buy or I want to deploy this EC2 because I need large memory. Okay, which am I going to go with? I'm going to go with this, which is the C. The C classes not always falls in the large memory capacity. Okay, so I'm going to go with this. Why? Because of the memory of this, what I'm going to get installing this. Okay, now if you have other reasons for wanting to deploy, you check that. You have to go through everything and all of the information is listed there for you to see. You can see storage. Now, some of them don't even have a storage attached to it. You have to have your own storage. Okay. So these are the different types. These are the different capacities. Okay. These are things that you have to look out for. Once you click on any of the types, it gives you detailed information. You can see here, it says details. You go there and you read through everything carefully before clicking or selecting them. You can see here the hyperversor we talked about. This is using the neutral hyperversor. So you check the instance size is 16x large. The instant family is on family 6. All of those things you have to check to ensure it aligns, because if you choose the wrong EC2 for, let's say, you want to actually deploy this EC2 for a workload that requires large memory, and you're choosing an EC2 with low memory. Okay, let's say now you're choosing an EC2 with low memory storage or capacity. It means you're choosing the wrong one. One, your boss is going to shout at you for it. Two, you're just wasting your time. Three, you're wasting the company's money and your money. So that is why you really need to look out for all of those things. Okay. So let's go straight. So once you are doing your own assessment, please take your time and look out for all of this before clicking. Okay. Now, let me show you how to quickly just do to launch an instance fast. So now when you want to launch an instance, you click here, which says launch an instance. Okay. So once you click here that says launch an instance, it takes you to this page. This is the instance homepage. So here, what you do, you put in a unique. It has to be a unique name for your instance. Okay, it has to be to unique name. So let's say learning. Okay, and now when I have put in my unique name for this instance, now you go here. Remember we talked about the Amazon machine image, right? Which is the image that provides you what with the operating system application service that you need to run this instance. So now I'm going to choose. This is where it is. So which one do you want to use? Okay. In this case, which of which of the operating system or operating system that you want this compute that you're deploying to use. Okay, so we have the Linux, we have the Mac OS, we have the Ubuntu, we have the um, Windows, and a lot of them. So you choose the one that aligns with the operating system that you want or that your organization wants, that your platform wants. I always like going with Ubuntu or Linux. Okay, so in this case, let's just use Linux. Okay, Linux is for the Amazon. So you click on it. Okay, 1 minute. No, I don't want to change this. I want to still remain on Linux. So just confirm. So I want to change to Linux. Okay, so now I successfully changed to Linux. So now I'm using Linux. That is the operating system. That is the Amazon machine image I want for this instance I want to set up. Okay, now you can see the details of this. It's going to give you the details of the Linux. Okay, the IAM number. All of these are important. Okay, now this is on the free tier. You can see here it says free tier. Please use for this purpose of learning, always use the one that is on the free tier, okay? Because free tier means you have the free storage for a month. Don't use anyone that is out of the free tier. Please don't click on it, okay? It means you're going to pay from your pockets, okay? Use this first one or this one, but ensure you see the free tier eligible, okay? So this one I'm using is the free tier eligible. Okay, so now it gives me a detailed description of the Amazon image. Okay, now we go down. We have the instant types. I've talked about instant types, right? So which instant type am I using? For the sake of learning, I'm doing something very small. Okay, we have the TS. The T classes are always the small insert types. It means they have less, maybe say less memory. You could see here, it gives you the CPU, it's only 2 virtual machine CPU. It's only 1 gigabyte memory, and that is it. So it's small, right? If compared to if what you want to do. So I'm going to choose this as well. This is the instant type. I could change it. If you want to change it, you click on this. It's going to give you a drop down. Okay. Now you go through. Please, if you're choosing an instance, choose an instance that falls within the free tier. You can see here it says free tier eligible. Please choose an instance that falls within the free tier. Okay, always go for the sake of learning, always go with micro, which is the smallest size of the instances. Okay, so now once you click that, we talked about the key pair. I'm walking you through this because you're going to do it in your assessments. Okay, we talked about the key pair. Now the key pair, you click down, you're going to generate your own key pair. For you, if you don't have a key pair already, you see create a new key pair, you click here to create a new key pair. You can see it here. Can you all see the create a new key pair? Can you tell me please, yes or no? Can you all see the create a new key pair? Can you tell me if you can? Yes, in the chat box. No, let me know. Can you all see create a new key pair? Yes. Anyone else? Did you see create a new key pair? Yes. Okay. Now, for you, since your account is new, you're going to create a new key pair here. You click on it. Now, when you're creating a new key pair, use the RSA, okay? Leave it on this default. This is the AWS default setting. Put in your key pair. You have to give it a unique name. Let's say, for instance, learning in this case, okay? Once you put in this information, now you read, it says, when prompted, store the private key in a secure, accessible location. Once you generate this, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to generate this so you get to see. So leave all of these defaults. If your default is not RSA, change it to RSA keepers, okay? But it's usually that's the default for AWS, I think. Now, you put in a unique name and you click create keeper. So we're going to create this right now. So I show you how to store it, okay? You create this. So my key pair is created. It is created and stored in my private folder. Okay. You need this. You have to store this safely. Okay. Because you might need this in the future to access using SSH. I'm going to tell you about SSH later, maybe in the next class. Okay. Save your key pair. No one else should have access to this key pair. Okay. Now that is as easy as that. Your key pair is created. Now, if I click on my drop down, you're going to see I now have the learning key pair there. Can you all see the learning key pair? Can you all see the learning key pair there? Can I get a yes? Learning key pair is included. Did you all see the learning key pair? Did I get a yes, please? Okay, yes. Can I get a yes, please? So now that is how you create your key pair. Okay. Now you go down. Remember we talked about the network security group. This is where you choose your security group. Okay. Now for the network, the VPC, you can leave it default. Okay. Which AWS has already created for you. Okay. Now you click on, for you to deploy the EC2, okay, you allow SSH. In this stage, this particular one is not really important for you. For the next class, I'm going to tell you. You can just leave it on default like this, okay? For now, allow only SSH traffic, okay? For now, okay? Now you go down. You're going to see the storage. Remember, we talked about EBS over there. So this is the storage. For this storage as well, leave it default because you're working with what? Free tier. But for future, let's say you get an employment, a job. If they say they want large storage, they want you to change your EBS storage capacity, you go down here and you choose an EBS storage capacity that fits into the deployment that you want to carry out, okay? But for the case of this class, for the essence of this class, we're using the default storage, which keeps us on the safe side of using the AWS free tier, okay? You click on it, and that is all. And you come over here, you click on launch EC2 instance. Another thing is, if you want to launch more than one EC2 instance, you can clean this and put in the numbers. But for this case, just one, okay? Now you come here, you click on it. And you just let it generate, okay? So you can see here, it says successfully installed or successfully initiated launch of EC2. This is my EC2 ID, okay? Now to get access to this, you come here, you click on your instance. Now, can you see it? Can you all see instance and the status is running? Can you all see it? Tell me yes, I can in this comment section if you can. Can you all see the instance we just created now? Just tell me yes. Anyone else? Did you all see the instance and how easy it is? All you need to do is follow the instructions, okay? Read through. Yes. Okay, this is how easy to create an instance, not difficult. Now, we talked about instance lifecycle. When I talked about instance lifecycle initially, this is what I'm talking about. Now you can see instance state is running, right? Now, when you click on this, Okay, instant state is running. We can see the instant type we generated. We can see the status. The status is still initiating. I don't know why I'm going to go in when your instant status says still initiating. It means it has not fully deployed. Okay, so we'll wait for it to finish initiating. It takes a little bit of time. It's like you setting up an entire computer, so it takes a little bit of time. So we can see the availability zone. I chose my instance is running on US East 1 day. So that is the availability zone. For you, your availability zone can be different, and availability zone can be changed as well. So you can see now we don't have a public IP because I didn't choose that. So it literally gives you all of the information, details about your virtual computer. This is our virtual computer right now. This is literally our virtual computer. When we say virtual machine, this is what we're talking about. So let's allow it to finish initiating. Now just reboot and let's see. Still initializing. So let's just leave it to still initialize. Any questions before it's done? Any questions before it is done? The assessment form it's on the this assessment form is in the chat. Please go ahead to fill them, okay? So while you're filling the assessment form and we're waiting for it to finish initializing, any questions regarding this in the chat, please ask your questions. So now it is done. So once your EC2 it's ready, you can see here 3/3 check pass. So it means it is ready for anything you want to use it for. Can you see that? Can you put the yes in the chat box if you can see it, please? Can you see the 3/3 check pass and it's showing a green on the status? If you can see that, can you say yes, please? Okay. At this step said yes. Any other person, can you all see it? So that means your instance is up and running. Okay. Now we talked about the instant life cycle. This is what I mean by instant life cycle. Okay. You come here, you click on this, you have to highlight it, okay? And now you click on your instant states. You can see our instant state is currently running. This is the instant life cycle. Please, once you're done practicing, always come on your instant state, okay? You can see stop instance, reboot instance, that's rebooting this particular instance. You can see terminate, delete instance. Always terminate and delete your instance. Never leave your instance running so you don't incur charges on AWS. Okay? So once you're done practicing, don't leave your instance even for an hour once you're done practicing. Once you're done clicking, realizing, establishing, and understanding what you want, don't close your system without coming here and you go on terminate instance. Terminate instance means I am killing this. Say shut down, yes. I'm shutting down. Okay? It means I am shutting down everything. I am on the safe side. This instance is terminated. It's not running anymore. I will not incur any bill. Okay, is that understood? Do you understand? Is it understood? Please let me know. Did you see how I terminated the instance? Please put in the comment section. Did you understand? Yes, please always terminate your instance so you don't incur charges, okay? So that is how to set up your EC2 instance, as easy as that, okay? Now we go to, I will stop sharing my, okay. Also, now I have to show you how to set up your AWS alert. So to set up AWS alert is very simple. All you need to do is come down to this page where you have your name. Maybe for your case, it might be your ID number. You click on it. You come to billing and cost management. You click on it and it takes you to your billing section. Okay. You come here, you look for where it says budget. So you can see budget over here. Can you all see budget? You click on budget. Once you click on budget, you click on create budget. When you click on create budget, you can see use a template, or you can see spend zero budget. Leave it like this. Just use a template, use AWS generated template, okay? And leave it on spend zero spend budget, okay? Leave it on this. So it means if you deploy any service and the service exceeds zero point 0.0, AWS will notify you. Okay, leave it like this. So you come here, you put in your budget name, you type in your unique budget name over here. You must put in an email. Please, you put in your email, an email that you get notification in. Okay, put in emails. Once you do that, you click on create budget. Now, the essence of this is to be able to ensure that you manage your AWS budgets. Okay. Once you don't put in that email and everything, you come here, you click on create budgets. Please leave it on zero spend budgets. Okay. And also leave it on the use a template, which is the default setting. Okay. Please. It's the default setting is okay for what we want. You put in your email. The email should be an email you get notification on, please. Your unique name you want for your budget, and you come here and you click create budget. Okay? And that is it. Is that understood? Did we all get that? Did we all get that, please? So that is how to create an EC2 instance and the budget. Okay? Please, you're going to do this in your next class. So now AWS free tier reminder. I will remind you again, please stop instances after every use. Don't leave an instance running so you don't incur bills and you will have to pay. If you don't pay, AWS is going to close your account. Please terminate. You saw how I terminate. Please terminate every instance. After that, delete unused resources. Don't leave any resource running. Always delete them. Okay. Monitor billing dashboard. You see how I created that billing for you? Put in an email address that is working, that you receive notifications so you can track and monitor your billing and get alert if it exceeds 0.01. Okay. Avoid unexpected charges, please. Okay. Now, secure your AWS account. I can't stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. If you've not enabled multiple authentication factor, please do that immediately. Okay. Never use your root account. Now, I got some questions was why should we um have an IAM account and not use the root account, Never use your root account for any day-to-day activities. Your root account is there as the king of the castle. It's never touched. It's only used to assign administrative access, but you don't use your root account. Never use your root account for anything aside from giving administrative access to IAMs. Okay? Never do that, please. Your root account, keep it somewhere safe. Remember your username, your password, but never use it. Only use your IAM, okay? Use your IAM users instead, never your root account, okay? And section summary. So today we understood the virtual machine, virtualization, hypervisor, AWS virtualization, hands-on on AWS instance, EC2 component, and AWS lifecycle. Am I right or wrong? Is that understood? Did you get that? So now we'll be talking about assessment, okay? Can I do what? Is it, can I set it up if I haven't finished creating? No, you can't. If you haven't created your AWS account, you can't set it up. Without an AWS account, you can't do anything. Okay, you can't. Which are we using to create the EC2 instance? Please, not your root account. Your root account, keep it somewhere. Don't touch it. Don't use it for anything. Only work with your IAM. If you send me an assessment and I see it is your root account, automatically I will fail you. I'm not joking. Your root account is not to be used for anything. Only your IAM. Your root account is to be used only to assign administrative roles to others IAM you want to create. Use your IAM only, not your root account. Can I do all of this with my phone? No, I don't think, but you can try. I've never tried it. I've never tried using phone. I use phone to monitor because the interface, it's too small and I don't know, but you can try. Okay. I only use my phone to monitor my billings. So this is your assessment. So the assessment, I will send the detail to the Slack. So you'll be explaining virtualization in your own words. Okay. Describe the role of hypervisor in your own words. Explain an EC2 in your own words. Okay. Describe 4 components of an EC2 instance in your own words. Explain the difference between stop and terminate instance. All of this in your own words, please, okay? How you understand them. Create 3 real-world use case of EC2 instance. And now the most important part of this assessment is enable your AWS billing IAM accounts and set up a budget alert. Okay? And the last of the assessment is ask me 1 question you don't understand about EC2 service. Okay, that is your assessment. I'm going to drop a detailed step to step in the Slack. Please follow the step to step. It's easy. No need to come to ask me. Just follow this. If you follow the step, trust me, you're going to understand it. I always give a detailed step to step. Okay, please follow the step to step. Okay. So for the knowledge check, we learned about virtual machine, virtualization, hypervisor, EC2, AMI, security group, and the difference between stop and terminate. Okay. For next section, we're going to go into more detail in EC2 hands-on and instances. Okay. Any questions? Any questions before we call it a day? This says, please, Ma, you said I should remind you about Slack. Okay, thank you. So Slack link, give me a few minutes. I will just invite you myself. A few minutes, okay? Are you registered with, did you register for this? Give me a few minutes, Faith. Ma, I asked what kind of laptop is, no, your laptop, any kind of laptop that could run, that has an internet and can work and that is functional, a functional laptop. A functional laptop, any laptop that is functioning. Okay? A functional laptop is what you need. That's it. You just need a functional laptop, nothing fancy. Your laptop has an internet, it can go online, and yeah, you're good to go. Okay? You just need a functional laptop. Any other question? Any other question, please? Um, Faith, give me a few minutes. I'm trying to see. Okay, so Faith, do you have Faith, do you have for the Slack, do you have, how did you register? What email did you get? Do you have the email of any of the facilitators? Let me know, please, Faith, how did you register for the class? While we're waiting for Faith, any other question you need me to answer before we call it a day? You're welcome. Thanks you so much. Did you all get anything from today's class? Did you enjoy today's class? Okay, so Faith, please, it's Slack. The Slack channel link has been. Did you all enjoy today's class? This I have a question. Ask your question. The Slack channel link is in the comments, please. Click on it and join the Slack channel. Please go ahead to ask your question, please, Ms. Fu. Faith, please let me know if you successfully got the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll be dropping your assessments in the channel groups shortly. Please follow the step. I'm going to give a detailed step to step. Follow the steps yourself. All I need for the definitions, all I need is put them in your own term. I need to understand you understand it. And for creating your IAM, your billing alert, just follow the steps. Trust me, you're going to get them. You're welcome. Faith, I'm waiting for you, please. I did. It gave clarity to my little understanding of it. Thank you so much, Adistef. Thanks. How can a company look into cloud subscription and they are entirely new to it? How can someone knowledgeable about cloud guide them? Okay, so now you guiding them. What's the first step? Okay, so if your company is working on premise and they want to adopt cloud, so you are going to act as the cloud technical advisor or cloud personnel, whatever the term is, because terms differ in terms of the organization. So what you're going to do first is you have to ask your company which cloud service do they want to adopt. Faith, I'm waiting for you if you've gotten the Slack so before I could leave. Okay. The Slack channel has been posted in the comment section. If you got it, please just tell me you got it so I know. Now, while responding to you, the flow, what's called the services that your company wants to adopt is dependent on the business. Is you don't just wake up one morning and decide you want to adopt a cloud service. No. So let's say now you're having issue with your database, for instance. Your company running a business, there's a database, there's a server, there's network, a lot of things. So let's say the only thing you want to move to the cloud for now, based on the business need, urgency, finances, operation, and all of that, is just the database. Okay. You are going to have a decision with the board of trustees, your CTOs, everyone in charge, your decision maker in general. You guys are going to decide on first, we want to move our database to cloud, established. Now, which cloud platform? You're going to carry out your researches. Cloud platforms, they have what they call the sales team. Reach out to them, get their offers or whatever they are offering you based on the services you want to pick from them. Compare them. Is AWS better? Is Azure better? Is GCP better? Based on the packages they are giving you, okay, and what you'll be getting. This is what it is. When you make your researches, get informations about this, you're going to go on discovery call with them. They're going to explain, for instance, when you adopt our cloud storage, this is what you're going to get. This is how much you'll be paying. This is what you're not going to get. If everything they explain to you, let's say AWS sales team is the one that you like, that their explanation fits in. It has to align with the business goals, that their explanation fits into the business goals. Then you go on with it. Okay? That is how it is. Then you go on with it. Now we're going on with it. You have to have your managing team to plan. Now, adopting a cloud solution, it depending on what you want to. So most times, if you're migrating totally and your data is large, it could take months, it could take weeks. So it doesn't have a static time frame. It depends on the organization the cloud provider they want to adopt, or if they want to move entirely to a cloud native platform or software. So you first of all, you have to establish the problem that you have, the need of the cloud that you need, the cloud service that you need. Then you go out, reach out to them. They are going to book a discovery section with you. In the discovery section, you have your board of trustees, ask the relevant questions. If we're adopting this, what benefit are we getting? How much are we paying? If everything aligns with your organization needs, then you pick the one that interests you the most, that you think is in line with the business goals and all of that. Then you go on with it, then you plan it. That's as easy as that. Okay. It's not difficult. Okay. So please, Ma, have you the link, Faith, the link of the Slack is here. Can you see it in the comment section? The link of the Slack is in the comment section, Faith, please. Can you see it? Can you see it or not? Please let me know. You're welcome. Faith, we're waiting for you. Just click the link on the comment section. So you're going to have access. Click the link on the comment section. Can you do that? You have. Okay, what are you seeing? Were you taking straight to the Slack channel? That is what it is. Once you click the link, I think they're going to send you an OTP to verify that the email and all of that is yours and you're in. Okay, you have seen it. So have you successfully logged in to the Slack? If it's something that you can't do now, do me a favor, copy the link, keep it, and do that later. Just copy the link before we leave this live session. Let me know when you successfully copy the link. Okay? Can you do that now? Please. Faith, have you? I'm sorry, my network flew and I am not. Oh, I'm so sorry, Javi. Javi, so you didn't get the assessment and all. I'm so sorry to hear that. But I'm going to drop a detailed step to step on your assessments in the Slack channel. Faith, I'm waiting for you. Faith, I'm just waiting for you to leave this live. Have you successfully copied this Slack link? Copy it if you can't access it now, so you can do that later at your convenience. Hazi, so I'm going to drop a detailed step to step on the assessment. Just follow the steps, okay? It's not difficult. Okay, follow the steps and carry out your assessment. Submit the assessment, okay? I'm so sorry to hear about your network. Faith, are we good to go? Okay, so thank you everyone for joining the class today. I will see you tomorrow. If you have any more questions, please feel free to chat. I'm even scared to say chat me because you guys are bombing me with messages. But, but please, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the Slack. Really appreciate your teaching style, Ma. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Merciful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So glad to have you all and see you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye.